try this again. Welcome to Monkey's Pro Wrestling. Okay. Powerhouse Hobbs has left AEW for WWE. This is all the most recent news I could come up with. Drew McIntyre is the new WWE champion after defeating Cody Rhodes, who has now entered the Royal Rumble. Now, what I was talking about before I got texted was the Royal Rumble, which will take place January 31st from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, it was supposed to be Braun Breaker to win the Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania. Great, give someone new a chance. I like that idea. Now he's suspended, which he really isn't. It's a storyline, but anyway. And now they're saying Roman Reigns is going to win. Gosh, I hope not. Because they need someone new, like a Braun Breaker, to come in and win in the main event. That's how things move forward. By having new winners, That's my opinion. So I don't know what's going to happen. Then, of course, you have coming up next month or early March, the Elimination Chamber, which determines the other WrestleMania main events. In other words, the World Championship, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to choose the World Championship or the WWE Championship. And the winner of the Women's Rumble gets to choose the Women's Championship or the Women's World Championship. And the other title, the one that the winners of the Rumble do not choose, are decided at the Elimination Chamber. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. Now, rumors were flying that Chris Jericho was going back to WWE. He hadn't been seen in AEW. You have to remember a couple of things. A couple of very key things here. One, Chris Jericho's 55 years old. He isn't going to be there all the time. Two, Chris Jericho has a music career. When he's working with Fozzy, he's not working in wrestling, regardless of which promotion he's in, so it means nothing. And he just said in an interview that I watched that he is with AEW. Would he rule out ever going back to WWE? No. And probably after he retires, he'll go back for a short stint just to get in the Hall of Fame, that kind of a thing. Excuse me. And Samoa Joe is the new AEW champion. And from the pictures of him, looked like it was a bloodbath. He was wearing the crimson mask, as they used to say. Sting's son, Steve Borden Jr., has made his debut in wrestling to much fanfare. People were very impressed. Tyler Rex, R-E-K-S, might be Reeks, is transitioning to female. I guess he started his transition in 2020 and went public with it in 2021. But he's still transitioning. He has a YouTube channel all about the transition. And I guess his wife, now her wife, is 100% supportive of the transition. Always nice to have someone who is. And his new name, as a she, is Gabby Tuft. Ricochet has left WWE for AEW. He was unhappy with his position and unhappy with not being able to bring himself to main event status or even move up the ladder at all, which is understandable. I mean, he is King Ricochet. He got noticed originally by fans because of a match that he had with AJ Styles on the Indies as King Ricochet. So, okay. The next thing I did was I got all the latest injury list from WWE and AEW. Kevin Owens is dealing with a neck injury, as we all know, possibly requiring surgery. I thought he had surgery. He'll be out at least till the middle of the year. Bianca Belair has broken fingers that had some complications. So they're looking mid to late this year. Rey Mysterio has a torn abductor muscle, which is, well, they call it a groin muscle, but really it's a hip muscle. And it's adductor. Anyway, maybe it is abductor, but I don't think so. Aiming for a summer return. Ilya Dragunov has a torn ACL, expected back around September. Tonga Loa has a torn bicep, possibly returning around June. Apollo Crews, again that's spelled Crews, is recovering from a torn pectoral muscle. Again, could return late this year. Liv Morgan has a dislocated shoulder and has been working through her recovery. Zoe Stark had surgery for a knee issue and will be out for months. Zoe tore two things, like an ACL and an MCL, or an ACL and a, I forget, but there were two things that happened in a match. Piper Niven is dealing with a neck injury, and they don't know how long she's going to be out. Jacob Fatu is injured, but they haven't disclosed what, so they're waiting for an update. Now, injuries in AEW. It's actually quite a bit more. Adam Cole has a broken ankle. Anthony Henry has a broken jaw. Ouch. Bandito had surgery on his wrist. The Blade. Lower back injury. Darby Allin has a broken ankle because he was hit by a bus. Dax Harwood has a concussion. Dr. Britt Baker has a back and neck injury. Jamie Hayter has a shoulder injury. Julia Hart has a shoulder injury. Jeff Hardy has a broken nose and a concussion. Juice Robinson has a back injury. They're not saying what Keith Lee's injury is. Kota Ibushi has a complicated foot and ankle injury. Mercedes Moné has an ankle injury. She's supposed to be returning in May. Mark Davis has a broken wrist. Miro has shoulder and elbow injuries. MJF has a torn labrum, which is a hip area injury as well. Ortiz has a torn pec. Paul White, the Big Show, knee surgery. Powerhouse Hobbs has a knee injury. So who knows when he'll start in WWE if that's the case. Ricky Starks has an undisclosed injury. Scorpio Sky has an undisclosed injury, as does Wheeler Yuta. Yuka Sakazaki has a leg injury, and those who are out that aren't out on a leg, aren't out on an injury, but are out for other reasons. Hangman Page, family matters. Danhausen, personal matters. Delistico, visa issues. Kenny Omega, his diverticulitis is acting up again. Penelope Ford, personal reasons. Rio, visa issues. Ruby Soho, maternity leave. Sammy Guevara, suspended, and Tay Melo, which is Sammy's wife, maternity leave. I would say Sammy's probably actually out on paternity leave, but that's just me, because wrestling does do that. Unlike a lot of other jobs, wrestling does allow for a certain amount of time for paternity leave because of the nature of the business and the travel. So, and they actually, it's common in the UK to have paternity leave as well. Interestingly, in the UK, mom gets 6 months of maternity leave, and when she's done, dad gets 6 months of leave. That is insanium in the cranium for us. So, yeah. So they must have had baby number 2. My whole thing about the Royal Rumble, like I said, is that I believe that they should have different winners. Even if they do 2 years in a row, don't come back and, once somebody like Roman Reigns has won it like 3 years in a row or whatever, or was the champion and didn't participate because he was main eventing anyway, give someone new a chance. That's why I think Braun Breaker's a great idea. And I think they should go with that idea. Unless Hobbs is ready to go and they're putting him in the Rumble. Because they do put, even if they're putting him in NXT, they do put those stars in the Rumble. So, that's just my opinion. So, yeah. I'm going to go edit all of my videos. Again, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I mean, if you're here, you obviously enjoy professional wrestling. And I tried to stay as up to date as possible. I try to do a video once every week, which is easier during the season of Dark Side of the Ring. I actually do 2 videos a week because I do 1 video a week where I review the current week and I preview the coming week. But as soon as I have the whole season, I will do a video telling you all about that, and I can't wait. So, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week.